Joining us now to review some of the headlines of today's newspapers from around the world is Arise News analyst, the great Malabite, Emmanuel Ifene. Good morning, Emmanuel.
Good morning, Ruben. Good morning, Ayo.
Good morning.
Good morning, Rufai. We start the review with this day, Nigeria's newspaper of record. The lead story, Cardoso promises evidence-based monetary policy, financial stability, confirmed CBN governor. Moves to grow $1 trillion economy in 8 years. Harps on need for fiscal discipline. Yes, Yemi Cardoso, until yesterday, the nominee. Now he has been confirmed, although he has resumed duties last week. Himself and the other 4 deputy governors who were also confirmed yesterday. Well, if we were expecting a very rigorous screening, well, perhaps that's not how we do it in this climb. Unlike what happened in the US, they want to know everything. Who was your girlfriend in secondary school and all that? No, we don't do that here. We just screen, and Yemi Cardoso have been confirmed. But he has his job well cut out. As the Nigerian Tribune is reporting, he's been touching on some of the issues, how forex issues, inflation will be tackled. CBN governor promises $1 trillion GDP in 8 years. Senate confirms him 4 deputies. While the Business Day newspaper, Cardoso proposes CBN reset as Naira plunges to 1,000 Naira to the dollar, to pull back from aggressive development finance to ensure transparency, compliance, and collaboration. Says zero tolerance for breach of CBN Act. Key. Well, I think that's a good promise, unlike what we saw last time around, where the CBN went beyond the legal threshold for ways and means. Well, we hope Yemi Cardoso will be able to stand the pressure when it comes, or he prays that that pressure never comes from higher authorities, as it were. Now, the Nation newspaper, how I will tackle inflation, Naira, forex crisis by Cardoso, the CBN governor, transparency, compliance to rules will be upheld. Well, another story just above the masthead of the Nation newspaper, Obaseki asks Shuaibu to drop governorship ambition. According to this report, yes, quoting sources, Governor Obaseki haven't heard the apology, the plea of his deputy. Philip Shuaibu has now given his own report that, well, if you want things to come to normal and be part of the family again, then you have to drop your ambition. Well, I think Philip Shuaibu has a right to contest if he wants to. And INEC just came out with a timetable for Edo and Ondo elections coming up next year. So for Philip Shuaibu, he has a choice. If he cannot actualize his ambition on the ticket of the People's Democratic Party, where he now belongs, he may just, if he doesn't want to drop his ambition as is being asked of him, then he can just move to other parties. After us, there are many parties who will be willing to give him his ticket, but if he has the clouds to mobilize. But the issue at stake, actually, is that there is an understanding that the next governor of Edo State should come from Edo Central, because the predecessor of Governor Obaseki, that's Adams Oshomole, is from the north of Edo State, while Obaseki himself is from the south. So where do you leave the people of Edo Central, the essence, as it were, if Philip Shuaibu, who is more or less a brother of Adams Oshomole, was to become the next governor? So I think these are some of the issues there. But again, if you want to pursue ambition, I don't think anybody can stop him. But whether the people of Edo State will eventually vote for him is another matter altogether. But he has the right to contest if that is his desire as a citizen of this country. Now, the Blueprint newspaper, Fuel subsidy removal. Divided labor unites as TUC NLC begins indefinite strike October 3. Says federal government grandstanding, forestalling avenues to peaceful dialogue. We are meeting your demands. Masses stand to suffer. Federal government reps beg. Civil servant call for calm over delisting of 17,000 workers. While the Vanguard newspaper also reporting the story, NLC TUC start nationwide indefinite strike, October 3. Say no meaningful dialogue with government. Urge Nigerians to stockpile food items, other necessities. Is it not those who have cash in their pocket that will stockpile food? When many Nigerians are even thinking of the day-to-day, how to meet their day-to-day needs. In fact, when they pray these days, give us this day, not days, our daily bread. That's what people pray. And that's what the Lord's Prayer actually says. But for Labour to say stockpile food, well, the Daily Sun newspaper also reporting the story. Tough times ahead as NLC TUC begin indefinite strike next week. Vow to ground nation. Chefs plan, reps plead. While the other story there in the New Telegraph newspaper, strike. NLC TUC mobilized to ground activities nationwide from October 3. Now, the Punch newspaper also on the strike, indefinite strike. OPS, organized private sector, kicks as Labour vows to shut down airports. Others, Tuesday. Federal government Labour leaders meeting holds Tuesday. Tinubu to unveil workers' package, October 1. That's the Manufacturers Association of Nigeria. Others warn of massive economic losses. Government foot dragging on workers' demand, NLC. Well, the point the organized private sector is making, as we speak, there is huge unsold stock in their warehouses. Now, if you now add to this the shutting down of the economy, it will only worsen the situation, not only for the manufacturers, but also for their workers, because they will not produce, they will not sell, yet you want them to pay their workers. Now, the Daily Independent newspaper, federal government acts to avert strike, show sensitivity to labor demands. Now, the story below the photograph on the front page of Daily Independent, Idel Malud, pray for Nigeria as we work to make economy viable. Tinubu vows to crush illicit drug syndicate, urges anti-narcotic agencies to consolidate partnership. While the Daily Trust newspaper, survivors narrate ordeals in the hands of bandits. My son, granddaughter, over 50 others abducted. Eyewitnesses, varsity not fenced, poorly policed, attack the third on institution. Now, below, yes, the next paper, the Leadership newspaper, yes, rumor of fuel price hike unsettles motorist commuters. Scarcity hits Lagos, Ogun as long queues resurface. Fuel stations shut down operations. We are committed to energy security. NNPCL. We observed that yesterday. A lot of filling stations not selling the fuel that was selling. Of course, queues. But the price of PMS has not changed. And now, the Times of UK. Immigration is threat to West, says Breverman. Home Secretary hits out at misguided dogma of multiculturalism. Well, the issue of immigration being a major headache for the UK government. And the Home Secretary, Breverman, said, well, immigration is a threat to the West, but more people will continue to leave their countries, especially in poorer economies, to find succor, greener pastures in the West. Now, the Guardian newspaper, feminist approach to cancer could save 800,000 women's lives a year. That's what that report is saying. Why the Independent newspaper of UK, NHS staff too scared to report rogue nurses who abuse patients. Leaked documents show nurses and midwives accused of sexual, physical, and racial abuse stay on words because a culture of fear silences whistleblowers in disturbing echo of Lucy Letby scandal. That's the situation of the NHS in the UK. I'm sure the authorities will just find a way to deal with all these complaints. Ruben, Rufai, and Ayo.
Okay, so a couple of things. Number one will be the screening that happened yesterday. Dr. Vati has said a lot as regards it. We had a lot of textbook responses. But I think the fundamental problem is, how are we going to solve the problem? He talked about the fact that we have forex encumbrances of 6, 7, 8 billion. There was no specific number, which I think he should have already.
Because it has resumed.
He has resumed already, so he should be able to have that number at a screening like that. I think, solving that problem. I think let's even think for once and let's debate. How are we going to solve the problem? We're not getting enough forex from petrol, obviously, because of the state of play as regards crude oil theft and lack of investment in the sector. Most of the money that comes in taxes are pretty much used to service the states, and FAC allocation. Also, NLNG, for instance, in the FAC report, it says that the money that NLNG brought in was used to subsidize, was given to the NNPC, and NNPC claimed they used the money to pay subsidy. It's not that we're getting any big revenue. So how are we going to do it? We still have to borrow? Afrexim, I don't know what the state of play is regards that loan.
The $3 billion.
I don't know if it started even to come in tranches. So why we will still have to borrow? So where are we even going to borrow from as we speak today? Because of our cost of borrowing is very high. We can't obviously go to the Eurobond market. We can't. Because of our encumbrance he's out over there. So where are we going to get the money from? I think that's one of the first questions. And like Dr. Bati said, it's not magic. It's not textbook talk. Also, the case of independence of the CBN. Between you and I and God and everybody watching, CBN is not independent. It still subjects itself to the whims and caprices of the president.
But if this governor decides to be independent, I'll follow the act.
Yeah.